Okay, so good evening, everyone, Dhamma friends. And today, without further ado, we will be looking at the first path factor, the first path factor of the Noble Eightfold Path. And someone asked us if it is possible to share the notes earlier, just to get a sense of what I'll be talking in a way. Yes, that is very possible. And then I asked Brother Ang and the team to share. I think you already have the notes. So then I think still you need to read a couple of times because it's Pali sometimes, and just to understand the meaning and all that. But the note will give you a clear idea of what this discussion on each day means to you. That's much better, actually. All right, so let's respect the Buddha 3 times and then get started our Dhamma discussion. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Last Tuesday, I'm not the one before this Tuesday, the last discussion. In the last discussion, we discussed about the Noble Eightfold Path as an overview. I think you all could remember how I discussed the Noble Eightfold Path. Actually, we have another section in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta about the Noble Eightfold Path, but here will be a good place to discuss right after the Kamasukallikaну Yoga and Atthakilamathanu Yoga. I mean, what do you call self-modification way and then overindulgence way. So right after these two extremes, it is nice to discuss about the Noble Eightfold Path because it is the middle path. So middle part doesn't mean that half of the pain and half of the happiness. Huh? Some people wrongly understand. Half happiness, half pain, and that is middle path. It's not. Noble Eightfold Path has a very different, I would say, a very deeper meaning by understanding how to, practice it. This is the practice. I mean, you say you have a Dhamma journey. This is your Dhamma journey. It's not what you do in your own way. Like you might call that you have a Dhamma journey. This is what I've been doing. That is my Dhamma journey. This is my Dhamma journey. This is how I'm going to achieve my certain expectations. Well, I mean, this could be your custom-tailored way that you have made in the last couple of decades, maybe recently. But the true Dhamma journey is the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path. So when you start off this path, you might be more or less at different levels, but it is very important, highly important to understand the basics and how to get started and how to maintain the path. So that is very important. I mean, from today onwards, if you talk about your own Dhamma journey, if you think about your own Dhamma journey, it is the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path. It is not just understanding only, it is both the understanding and the practice. That day I explained to you about Noble Eightfold Path in a way that this is the only path that leads to the Nibbana one day. Or I would say to become a better person, at the same time, finally leading up to the Nibbana. I think when you learn different Dhamma teachings isolately, I mean separately, you might have thought, you might have wanted that maybe I follow this and that, and I don't know how they are going to fit into the mainstream Dhamma practice, Noble Eightfold Path. Actually, every practice that you may have started, in a tiny bits of effort, maybe at a vihara, maybe in a Dhamma meditation retreat, maybe with a Dhamma sharing. They all can be related to this path factor. So you have to find out. If you cannot find out, means that you haven't understood how they are going to apply to your Dhamma journey. Now, it's okay. I mean, you might have started your Dhamma journey by reading a book. Maybe your first interest was by reading a book about Buddhism. Maybe going to a vihara because somebody invited you to go there. Maybe a vihara next to your house. Maybe a local temple. Maybe an online teaching. Maybe something else. But whatever the things that made you to have the basic interest about Buddhism, you need to understand at a certain point of that interest that you need to bring all those interests into the formal practice. The formal practice is the Noble Eightfold Path, the only practice and the formal practice. All right. So that's what I've been sharing with you that day. And I also said that a lot of people, they misunderstand several practices to be the mainstream Buddhism. Let's be open about that. One thing is that dana practice. Yes, dana is a part of a path factor here. Dana is a part of a noble path factor, but it's not the only thing. So we have to understand, where does dana fit in the Dhamma journey? That means in the Noble Eightfold Path. Another very important popular practice that a lot of people, they start right away, is the meditation. Meditation is also a part of this Noble Eightfold Path. So you have to practice it according to the Noble Eightfold Path. Dana is also a practice of the Noble Eightfold Path. So you have to practice it according to the Noble Eightfold Path. Samadhi is also a part of the Noble Eightfold Path. So you need to practice Samadhi, right? Samadhi, we call it Samma Samadhi, according to the Noble Eightfold Path. So Noble Eightfold Path is our blueprint. That means we have to always bring that up and then to see how do my normal tiny bits of practices which I've been doing for the last couple of years, maybe last couple of decades, really work with this Noble Eightfold Path. Am I practicing them according to it, or I just practice it just in my own way, in my comfort zone only? So we have to look at it. Maybe you may have started with your comfort zone, but when you understand the Noble Eightfold Path, you need to bring it to this formal way of practicing those small practices. And I also shared with you about Satipatthanas, because at the beginning of the main two Satipatthana suttas, as well as in the Satipatthana Samyutta, there is a phrase that is going on: Ekayano bhikkave ayam maggo sattana visuddhya soka pariddavanam samatikkamaya dukkha dovanassanam attangamaya nyayasa adhigamaya, so on and so forth. And then it says, Ekayano ayam bhikkave maggo. A lot of people, they misunderstand this. They think the only path is the Satipatthanas. Right? What this phrase says is that Satipatthana is a practice that comes under the Noble Eightfold. And within that path, Satipatthanas help us to practice a lot. But the only path is not the Satipatthana. Satipatthanas are really helpful for us to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. When I say that, you need to understand how do Satipatthanas work within the Noble Eightfold Path? And Noble Eightfold Path is the wider, larger practice. Right? So keep that in mind. I have to reiterate this part before we go on to the first path factor. How many path factors are there in the Noble Eightfold Path? 8. Well, it is 8. You might say 8. But there are 2 individuals who are following the Noble Path. Forget about the number. Unenlightened individuals, they follow the Noble Eightfold Path. Enlightened individuals, they follow the tenfold Noble Path. Okay? Or I would say Noble tenfold Path. Because when somebody attains Nibbana, that person practices 2 more path factors. I think you could have seen that probably in a previous note. Maybe I can show you. Let me see. The Noble Eightfold Path post, which I already, I think, shared. Yeah, it's over here. Yeah, as you can see here, now there are 8 for the normal unenlightened individuals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But when you become an Arahant and onwards, there are 2 more path factors going on: right knowledge and right truth. We call them Samma Jnana, Samma Vimukti. So don't get confused about these 2. These are only for the Arahants and then the individuals higher than Arahants, Pacceka Buddhas and Samma Sambuddhas. In a very brief note, I wanted to show you again. As you can see here, what you call Atta Kilamatana Yoga is here, self-modification. I introduce Atta Kilamatana Yoga in a way that, in a way how people practice Sila. Atta Kilamatana Yoga is a wrong way of practicing Sila. How do we know it? Now, we are supposed to practice Sila, right? Sila has 2 parts, Sila and Sikha. Sila means what you call good conduct. In order for us to practice good conduct, we may need certain precepts, right? So Sila part and Sikha part. Sila and Sikha, these 2 have to be followed in the proper way. But keep in mind, Sila is not just a precept. A lot of people think that, okay, I keep myself to 8 precepts, so I'm good. I have Sila. Sila is not just the precept. Precepts are helpful, but Sila is a discipline. It's an overall discipline with our thoughts, speech, and our body. And I repeatedly shared with you that Sila, practicing Sila is not the avoidance of the opposite of those wrong sides. I think I repeatedly shared this with you. Remember? Now, the example that I have picked up to share with you about this is, now a lot of people think that if I merely avoid the wrong side of the precept, I have Sila. But it's not. The example is, what if a 3 months old infant is going to, how is a 3 months old infant going to look at these 5? How do we see an infant with 3 months old infant with 5 precepts? Just 5 precepts. What do you think? Does a 3 months old infant kill any beings? Does a 3 months old infant steal other people's stuff? Does a 3 months old infant sexually misbehave? Does a 3 months old infant lie? Actually, children cannot lie. You can understand that they are lying. And does a 3 months old infant take any food or beverages to a level where his or her mind is going to be clouded so that he or she cannot give a sound judgment? Of course, they don't have a good judgment. Of course not. So that means a 3 months old baby has a lot of sila more than you, isn't it? Do you believe that? Do you believe if this is the case, then a 3 months old infant should have a lot of sila than you? You are going to retreats, you are going to practice 8 precept on full moon days, new moon days. But you looking at their way, they must have a lot of sila, isn't it? What do you think? That is what you can see. But sila is not the mere avoidance of precepts. Sila is the intentional avoidance of the wrong side of the precept. How do we see that? Now, there is someone like you, if you are trying well, you are not going to kill any being because you know it is not good. It is not good for other people because they have a right to live, and you are not doing it because you know this karma will come after me anytime in the samsara, even in this life. You are not going to steal anything because you know how things are so precious to other people. So I had to understand, I had to respect how they are uh, dearly, cordially keep their stuff, sentimental stuff or other stuff. And on the other hand, I know this is bad because if I steal, my stuff will be stolen as well. And if you sexually misbehave, you know what is going to happen, and you are uh, stepping over to other people's relationships, and you are breaking the peace of other people, and this will come to you one day. Maybe you have a breakup in your relationship one day, this life or next life. You would have a divorce in, this might be very normal in today's life, but nobody would like to go to that point if they have a choice. And you are not going to lie because it is not good, because when you lie, other people are misled. At the same time, you are misleading yourself. So you know this is happening. This will happen if you do so. And you are not going to take any food or beverages to an extent where you will be not able to make a sound judgment. So you are thinking, I have to eat properly. I have to eat in moderation. I have to drink in moderation. So because my eating habits, my drinking habits affect me, affect other people. Through this understanding, you are not going to break it. This is practicing sila. So you have to always bring the intention, volition part, chetana part. Without chetana, your sila is not going to work, right? So, uh, so we have to understand that in a proper way. Now, going back to Atta I introduce you. Atta Yoga means nothing but a wrong way of practicing sila. Why? Now let's say someone is going to practice sila without understanding what sila can bring about in my life. Actually, what's the point of practicing sila? Very good questions. Huh? What is the point of practicing sila? Is it because Buddha said this? Is it because my culture said to me? Is it because the monks are telling me to do that when I go to the temple? Is it because some other event, what you call ceremonial events? No, there is a bigger purpose of sila. We are practicing sila because we have to go to the next level. Next level is samadhi. Samadhi. You won't get a samadhi without sila. Right concentration. Because now in the West, here in the West, mostly, I mean, I'm not saying everyone's practice, mostly meditation, according to their culture, is a relaxation practice. Of course, we need that too, right? Now, take your today, since today's morning, if you think about your life, you may have encountered certain emotional events, right? Uh, certain emotional events within yourself, maybe with your other people, loved ones, or those people who are with you. So, a practice of meditation, or probably meditation that is only focusing on nibbana, it is good, but it might not always protect you from the daily events. I mean, of course, it might, but you might not feel it that much. So it's good to have a relaxation meditation on the side. At the same time, you practice the larger, broader meditation practice, satipatthana, to attain nibbana. Because we need to relax in our life, especially when we are dealing with our emotional uh, aspects of the mind. Sometimes there are people who listen to many Dhamma talks, they learn a lot of Dhamma, but when actually the actual emotional problem arises, they are not able to do anything. Why is it? Because they are not able to practice the small level of, I would say, the basic levels of meditation, like probably not reacting to other people, uh, not understanding what's going on. They're getting very panic about the status of the mind. They're getting panic, they're getting confused, right? So we have very basic ideas. When something is happening to you, don't try to react to other people. Just be quiet. Just take some time to respond. Uh, just be patient. This is the golden opportunity for us to practice Dhamma. Patience. How many times during your daily life that you are needing a lot of patience? Actually, mindfulness helps you to become patient. The most important quality in our state of mind is patience. Mindfulness can help us to be patient. Now, this is the time you have to be patient. Mindfulness tells us. But mindfulness itself is not the theory, not the practice. Mindfulness helps us to understand this is the time that you have to practice dana. This is the time you have to practice sila. This is the time you have to practice what you call kanti, patience, right? So, Attakilamattana yoga means if somebody practices sila without understanding that it leads up to samadhi, and I have to go to samadhi, that is Attakilamattana yoga. If you look at a lot of people, especially five monks and then for ascetic monks or other Jains, they've been practicing this sila in a wrong way. They're giving lots of pain to the body. It's a old narrative. Even in today's world, people don't believe, especially young people don't believe nowadays. Hard working can give us any happiness. You see. They want to find out some smart work. That's an older narrative. The harder you work, the happier you are. Old narrative in the working culture. But nowadays, things are not that way. Maybe you have to be smart. You have to understand. You have to be wise. How to do my work. Things have been taken over by AI, and then things have been considered differently than our, uh, predecessors, right? So, Sila also should be practiced by understanding that I have to go to Samadhi. But while keeping Sila, you have to go to Samadhi. While keeping Samadhi, you are going to Panya, wisdom. And then, okay, then we discuss about overindulgence, this part. Now, what is this? This means, as lay people, you need karma, isn't it? Now, karma sukalika. I think I already explained to you. As lay people, you cannot go away from basic karmas. Would you like to deprive you of basic karmas? You think that you want to eat something, but you don't eat because you think it's bad, it's low. How many of you think like that? You want to take care of yourself in a certain way, but you think that it is low, it's great. Maybe it's something that I should not do. How many people have misunderstood Buddhism? You can't earn money. Yeah, this is Buddhism, right? You can't be a business person. Right? Now, all these Anathapindikas, these bankers, kings who come to the Buddha, they were all rich people. Without their support, he couldn't have done anything actually. The Buddha, right? So, lay people need karmas, basic karmas. You cannot think that you don't need karma. That's why in the Metta Sutta, Buddha says, Kamesu vinaya gedang. Can you remember that Pali line? Dittincha anupagamma silava. Dassanena sampan. Kamesu vinaya gedang. Kamesu vinaya gedang. The Buddha says that having given up the greed toward karma. But people translate having given up all the karmas. It's pretty bad, huh? Let's go to a translation, see how they translate. This is why I'm saying that the text has been plagued by many people. Wrong translations are everywhere now. See a translation. then you will understand. Looks like, okay, right here. Okay, verse number 10. Metta Sutta. I think you all chant this sutta every day. Dittincha anupagamma silava. Thus, we don't have any issue with those lines. See, kamesu vinaya geda. With sensual desires abandoned. Now, what does this Pali line mean? Gedang vinaya. Having abandoned. Vinaya means abandoned. Having abandoned. Gedam means greed towards or in regard to karmas. So what you are supposed to do is that you need to overcome the greed in regard to the karmas. You cannot get rid of karmas because without karmas you cannot live. But you should know your own parameters of karma, your own limits of your karma. There's no such thing that this is the way. So Kama Sukallikanu Yoga means there is someone who is going very extreme on his own karma, which is not necessary. Because Buddha has already asked us to overcome, give up greed in regard to karma. So when you are too much onto that, then what will happen? You are going on to another wrong path. So on this side, too much pain to the body by practicing wrong sila. On this side, too much materialistic, very materialistic about life, and then too much what do you call promoting karmas. When you are too much onto karma, it is going to be a problem. Can you think about during what stage of the Buddha's life that he practiced Kamasukallikana Yoga and then Atthakilmatthana Yoga? He practiced Atthakilmatthana Yoga during the 6 years of time as an ascetic, and he practiced Kamasukallikana Yoga as a prince in his palace. All right, I think that's too much about the two sides because I really wanted to share with you because we could not do 2 classes because of my traveling. Now we are going on to the first part factor. So you have a note, so you don't have to worry about anything over here. Okay, now this one, think, define. See. Yeah, before that, let's go to the text again. Now the text is over here. Etete bhikkave ubhavanti anupagama. So having not come to these 2 extremes, see Majjhima Patipada, now the middle path, that means Noble Eightfold Path, has been attained by the Buddha. And then you can see over here, Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappo, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammantu, Samma Ajivu, Samma Vayamu, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. The same phrase keeps recurring, so don't worry about it. Now we're going to discuss about Samma Ditti. All right. Samma Ditti. Ditti. With our time, I want to summarize. I'm not going to read all these notes which I prepared for you. You can do your own reading, but I will pick up the important ones just to spice up this discussion. Ditti. Let's talk about Ditti. What is Ditti? Ditti, according to Buddhism, is a very dangerous thing. Our views, Dittis, our views. Now, just think about, in general, is Ditti an akusala? Is Ditti an akusala? Having views, is having views an akusala? Of course, if it is without Samma, it is. Could be Miccha, or it could be just views. Now, we all have our own views. The difference is that we may have less views about life or outside. Some people have more views about life and other things. Now, for example, Things like political views, religious views, social views, cultural views. We have lots of views as such. The Buddha says that ditti, Pali word ditti or view, comes from lobha. It is a lobha, part of lobha. Lobha means greed. How does ditti or views or having views become a part of a greed? Can you think about it? When you have your own view about something, I mean, I'm not talking about the wholesome samadhi, right view, normal views, then what will happen? You are going to hold on to those views. You like to defend your own views. You like to maintain. You sometimes going to argue with other people. Some people are there. Some people are really trying, really going on to different issues, saying that I have my own view, you have your own view. So we are not going to, right? We are not going to match up. This is not what I want. So with all these things, slowly, gradually, we might have been creating our own views about life. Even our own views about, we may have our own views about reality too, the way how we look at it, the way how we perceive it. The Buddha says that, all right, views are not good, but in order to understand our views in general, we need to have a certain framework. So I say to everybody, the first thing you need to practice in the Dhamma journey is right view, because you have to have a wholesome view about life and your sansaric journey, maybe the ending of this sansaric journey. A wholesome view is mandatory. A wholesome view is very, very necessary for us to practice a Dhamma. Now, the unfortunate thing is that a lot of people, they don't know about this thing. They have jumped onto certain other cherry pick practices. They don't know about Sammaditi. They went on to Samma Sati. They went on to Samma Vacha. They went on to Samma other noble path factors. So the Buddha says you have to start your Dhamma journey from Sammaditi, right view. Now let's see what is Sammaditi. Let's go to the note. Okay. Here I wanted to tell you certain very famous references about views from very famous suttas that you know. You can see here. Oh, this is part of the same verse actually we just discussed from the Metta Sutta. You can see over here. Dittincha anupagamma silava. Dassanena sampanno. These first two lines, it says, Dittincha anupagam, not falling into views. Now, let's talk about this from our normal life. When you have a friend who has lots of views, can you easily get along with that person? Even for a coffee? It's difficult, huh? Because that person is talking a lot of things and we cannot relate to that person. Political stuff, religious stuff, maybe too much stuff sharing. So we don't need that kind of lot of messed up stuff. We need some peace of mind. So that means we have to be very careful with not to feed us a lot of unnecessary information, because our brain, our mind is a misinformation factory nowadays, right? A lot of misinformation. Sometimes they are not verified information. So we should never fall into the views. Rather, we can have a sammaditi. Now we can be learning that. What is sammaditi? But normally, it is not easy for us to get along with the person who has a lot of views, right? Now, another way to think about these views in your normal life is that there is someone who is very choosy, who is very picky about the food. Can you go to a restaurant with this person easily? Can you? You have to always consider about this choices. Always think about this person's ideas, cherry pick ideas. Sometimes there might be no choice for you. You have to sacrifice yourself for that person, right? So when you have developed these views, you will go to a place that you are not an easy person. Not even for the food. Food is at least okay. You may do certain other options. But what about life? What about life? What about other things? Now, if two people are getting married and they are loving each other, but they don't know that they have developed their own views separately, very hardwired views. But when they come to certain life events, they are going to burst because they have very different views about life, right? So views matter because not even for Nibbana, but also for our normal life. So let's keep them very low. Let's keep our ditthis very low. So life becomes very easy. Life becomes very flowing, consistent, right? You may have your own way of looking at it, but when you keep your views very low, life becomes very interesting, very beautiful, very flowing, and you can have a very what you call good life, especially a peaceful life. Because in order to go to Nibbana, peace of Nibbana, you should have normal peace, right? If you don't have the normal peace, how to go to that Nibbana? You don't have the normal peace in your house. You don't have the normal peace in your relationship with your whoever you are with. Then how you think about that higher happiness? It's not achievable for you, right? So you have to make that happen. So this is one way to look at it. So going back to the text, I quoted this Metta Sutta's line, which says that falling onto a view is very dangerous, very unnecessary. It stops us. Our Dhamma journey will be stopped. So you should be very careful on that. And then I also quote from Ratana Sutta here, verse number 10 in the Ratana Sutta. Saha vassa dassana sampadaya. Tayassu Dhamma jahita bhavanti. I think this is a very famous stanza in the Ratana Sutta. As you can see here, Saha vassa dassana sampadaya. What does it mean? Who is this about actually? Ratana Sutta talks about how to become a Sotapanna. Ratana Sutta that you always chant, maybe you'll be hearing from other people. It talks about how to become a Sotapanna person. Sotapanna person means the basic bare minimum. That is where we have to look for, right? Before you attain an Arahant, the bare minimum stage is becoming a Sotapanna. In order for you to become a Sotapanna, you need to have the right view, not the wrong view. So views should be lot of views are unnecessary. They have to be they have to be as low as you could make them to be. Right? So we go down over here. This is what I already said to you. Views ditti come from lobha. Why do I say so? Ditti means that you are greedy for your own views. You want to carry them. You want to bring them forward. Right? There are lots of examples in our life. Now just think about someone who is hoarding a lot of things in his house or her house. Now the house has no space also. You cannot go to different rooms also. The rooms are packed up with a lot of stuff. So he is a hoarder. She is a hoarder. Piling up. When somebody asks, no, these are very sentimental stuff. I cannot, even a spring cleanup will not help. Right? Now, nobody cannot go to many rooms in the house. Lot of stuff. Because he or she had developed an idea in his or her mind that I have to keep them. That idea. Actually, they are not necessary to keep. Sometimes you can dispose them. Because the most important thing for those people to live in that house. Because when you are a hoarder, you cannot easily let go of your greed towards your old stuff. Yes, you may keep some old stuff, but not like a hoarder, right? Because that is unnecessary. Because that kind of a hoarder has been maintaining a view that I cannot let go of my past stuff. I have to keep them in my rooms. Nobody should go there. Nobody should touch my stuff. That is a view. So that's why the Buddha said, Ditti comes from lobha. Okay, it's a part of the lobha, greed. Now you might have heard greed only in regard to dana, right? You know lobha in regard to dana only, right? But today, learn that ditti is also part of lobha. That means your views about life, they come from greed. And then you're going to continue over here, a lot of stuff you will learn. Sakkaya ditti and miccha ditti. These are two words. What is miccha ditti? What is sakkaya ditti? Now, miccha ditti means when you do not practice samma ditti, that means you have miccha ditti, wrong view. But sakkaya ditti is something different. What does sakkaya ditti mean? Anybody can think about sakkaya ditti? It's a good question, actually. Miccha ditti. Sakkaya ditti does not necessarily mean miccha ditti, but sakkaya ditti is a wrong way of understanding oneself, especially identifying oneself. One very famous translation is ego, right? Ego. We are maintaining our identity. Can we sometimes let go of our ego? Have you ever thought that way? Can we sometimes let go of our ego? And have you found out some happiness when you let go of our ego? Sometimes you are not going to hold on, you are not going to maintaining any identity of yourself. So I don't care about that. So I just have to just let go of my ego, right? That is a good way of looking at it. Ego means that you are trying to maintain sakkaya in terms of ego means you are trying to maintain your identity, which perhaps uh, limits your understanding about life, understanding about reality. Sometimes we have to let go of that thing. All right, that is sakkaya. There's a difference. Can we have a view without making it fixed? That means I already told you that a lot of views are fixated views, hardwired, fixated views. But can we have a view without being fixated, without being hardwired? Not the right view, maybe. In our normal life, yes. How to do that? If you are someone who is always communicating well, who is always negotiating well, you are not trying to hold on to any view. You are open to listen up. You are open to talk. And that's a very good way of understanding views, without even talking about samadhi, the right view. Let's say that you are dealing with a lot of views of other people and you have your own views, then try to have a very moderate uh, way of maintaining your views and more understanding about how other people think about. So it's pretty easy to then live at that point. But right view is something more than that, which we have to learn today. All right. Then we are going, I think this part you will learn. You can read later. I am going to the Sammaditthi part now. All these are views about the Buddha's time, and you can see a lot of views. And okay, now there is a flyer I made long time ago about Sakkaya Ditti. You can see it over here. There are 20 types of identity view Sakkaya Ditti, as you can see. 4 for the Rupa Kanda, 4 for the Vedana Kanda, feeling, 4 for the perception, Sanya Kanda, 4 for the Sankara Kanda, volitional formations, and 4 for the consciousness, Vijnana Kanda. So altogether, that makes up 20, what do you call, 20 Sakkaya Ditti. So we have to lower them all the time. So that is how we're going to be happy. And then we are going on to further down, right? Okay, this is the most important part. What is right view? Right, let's discuss about it. Now, I already given you some hints. My hints were about, have we given enough thoughts about certain practices we've been practicing in our life as a part of Samadhi? Now, let's go and see them. right? It's okay. Okay, right view. Okay, so right view, you have to only pay attention to this part, the unenlightened part, because this is for the arahants. Huh? Don't worry about that part. Now you can see that there are 10 things that you need to practice if you want to practice Sammaditthi. This is how you're going to start off your Dhamma journey, okay, with Sammaditthi. There are 10 things. There is merit in giving alms, number one. That means you have to have a perspective, you have to have a view in your thoughts that there are a lot of merits when you are giving dana, not only to the Sangha, but also to anybody that you are meeting. Even a good smile to somebody, even a, um, you know, what do you call, even a good, what do you call, any activity that you can do to anybody. There is merit, number two, there's merit in large offering. Sometimes you may be affordable to do a large offering, maybe an offering that you can do to many people, many beings. One cannot done. Third one, there's merit in small offering. Sometimes you are not affordable to do things. Maybe you have little money. So, but you are using that little money to give something to somebody. Maybe you have a tiny bit of stuff. This is what you can afford, and you are going to give or share. Third, I mean, you are doing, before you're doing, you have to bring these ideas onto your mindset, attitudes. This is wholesome. This is wholesome. I have to give dana. I have to give danas in big quantity if possible. If I cannot afford, I give dana in small quantity. So first you create these ideas onto your thoughts, right? This is the third way of practicing Sammaditthi. Fourth one, there are results from good and bad actions, karma. Now, as Buddhists, we know every intentional action creates karma. I want to ask this question differently. We have a difference between karma between Buddhism and Hinduism. A lot of people don't understand that. In Hinduism, every action is karma. Whatever you do, whatever you think, whatever you act on, speak, karma. The Buddha says no. The Buddha said it's only the intentional action that becomes the karma. Now, look at that example of a 3 months old infant. 3 months old infant has no intention about whatsoever. But you think about it in this way. Now, you're thinking properly, considerably that I'm not going to kill, I'm not going to steal, I'm not going to do this and that. Maybe you are walking and then you have never thought probably some tiny creatures might be stepped on. I mean, maybe you may have not thought about it. That's not karma, right? So the Buddhist karma is only the intentional action, but don't make it as a misunderstanding. Okay, don't use this as a free pass to kill other beings. Huh? It's an honest, a very conscious understanding and a practice. So Buddhist karma is not a free pass to kill or disturb other beings, but Buddhist karma is only the intentional actions, not all the actions. So under the fourth perspective over here, you can see the way how you are practicing right view is you are going to believe, you are going to trust that each intentional good and bad actions create karmas. We call them vipakas. Karma is are your actions, and those actions create vipakas, results, repercussions. Actually, it's a very good idea. I mean, if you know that, you will never do any bad karma, right? Because you know that all these are actually coming after me at a certain point. That's a fourth perspective under Sammaditthi. These are interesting. I always emphasize these two. One, two, three, four. Then the fifth one. Mother is a special person. Father is a special person. Why mother? Why father in our Sammaditthi practice? Why are they necessary? Now, if you ask from somebody, why are you treating your mother and father? They might say, my mother, father raised me up. They have helped me a lot in whatever their capacity. I mean, the version of many people. Yeah, maybe this might be different from other people, some other people. But why did the Buddha include to think, to have a perspective in our mind that mother is a special person, father is a special person? The reason being that these are the two people that can give us a good source of gratitude. Because we have to be grateful to our mother, father, and to everybody who have helped us. Because this is the first virtue the Buddha taught us, isn't it? When he became the Buddha, uh, in the second week, he practiced the gratitude. And somebody might think, what is the purpose of looking at a tree without blinking eyes? That might be a little bit different practice. But what he uh, tried to tell us was that we had to be grateful. When you are grateful, your Dhamma practice flows nicely. When you are grateful, you can practice Dhamma very well without any problem. A lot of people have this issue. They know a lot of things, but those Dhamma things, they are not going down to their heart. They are only get stacked up at the level of their mind, their head. They do not go down to their heart. Why? Most people they have this gratitude issue. We have to be first grateful to the Buddha. That's why we always start with respecting Buddha, because this is not our Dhamma. It's his Dhamma, his findings. So the Buddha said we have to always treat our mother, father as special people. How do we do that? If they are alive, we're going to make them happy. If they are already gone, we're going to give them the good karma. They are very essential, right? Sometimes you might be a person whose parents are not having a good relationship with you. It's okay. You do your part. Everybody is different, because that is very important. Because somebody might think, then if I don't have a good relationship with my mom and dad, how do I practice samadhi? It's okay. Let them be so, but you do your part, because it's your Dhamma journey. It's not their Dhamma journey, right? Okay. So treat them in the way how you can make them happy in the good way. At the same time, give good karmas if they already go passed away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 7. There is this world, there is other world. What does this mean? This means we have to believe that there is a rebirth. Rebirth is uh, coming to me if I do not attain Nibbana. So I have a belief. So that means I'm trying to become more moral, better, become a better person. So my practice flows better as well as a result. Then there are spontaneously reborn beings, which means there are some beings who are reborn without the support of mother and father. In Buddhism, there are 4 types of beings who are born, right? Reborn. The first type of being is called Andaja. Andaja means beings who are born out of eggs. Then Jalabuja, beings who are born out of a womb. And the third type of being is Sansedaja, beings who are born because of the amalgamation of some things, probably some dirty things. And then last category is Opapathika. That means beings who are born spontaneously without the support of these 3, any human being. Who are they? Beings who are in the hells, they don't have mother and father. And beings who are in the heavens, they also don't have mother, father. So here, what does this part mean under the Samadhi? We have to believe such beings exist in the hells or in the Deva worlds and the Brahma worlds. I have to believe that. It's a part of the Samadhi. There are spontaneously reborn beings. Last one. There are ascetics or wise people, you could say monks, nuns, monastics, or other people also, who develop special powers through direct knowledge meditation. There are definitely, we have to believe that there are such beings existing everywhere in the world, right? So believing these 10 and then adjusting our attitude with these 10 is the first step in the Dhamma path. That means this is how you are going to practice Samadhi. All right. And then, okay, This is given in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 117. Now, the other thing I wanted to share with you is that how does someone come to Samadhi? Now, Noble Eightfold Path has 8, but there is another, I would say, the most important practice before Samadhi. You cannot come to Samadhi without that. Buddha has clearly mentioned in many suttas. That is Yoniso Manasika, wise attention. You must have wise attention. Thereby, you are able to adjust your attitudes with these 10 under the Sammaditthi. So, Sammaditthi and Yoniso Manasikara, they are mutually constructive, depend upon. Because if you don't have the Yoniso Manasikara, if you cannot wisely be attentive to what's happening around you and within your mindset, you are not able to go to Sammaditthi. All right, I think that's enough for the introduction of Sammaditthi today, because you can read. I hope that now we can go to the Q&A, because we have 30 minutes, half an hour. Yes, Sonia, over to you.
Thank you very much, Bhante, for the inspiring teaching. Brothers and sisters, please feel free to unmute your mic, and you can ask Bhante any question directly.
Bhante, can you explain the diagram? You showed us a very nice diagram about Sakkaya Ditthi just now, and then you showed us Vedana, the different column. Can you elaborate further in detail that sentence you wrote, feeling as in self, Vedana? Can you explain that sentence?
Well, this is not directly to Sammaditthi. I actually brought up Sakkaya Ditthi to this discussion because it is also part of Ditthi, kind of a Ditthi. So when you have when we have Sakkaya Ditthi, definitely we have Sakkaya Ditthi, it means that we have 20 types of wrong views about our identity. Because we are making our identity based on the 5 aggregates. Now let's take Vedana, as you asked me. We have a feeling. We have a lot of feelings. How many feelings do we have? We have 3 types of feelings in general Buddhism. But according to Satipatthana Sutta, we have 9 feelings. Right? Samisa, Niramisa. But here, how do we understand that we are making a Sakkaya Ditthi in regard to our feeling? That's interesting. Now we all, let's say now, you might think I'm happy now. Let's say when things are not working in the way you want, you feel unhappy about it. So it's a feeling. Sometimes when people ask you, how's your day? Not bad, not bad means, not too good, not too bad, probably. You're kind of like in between. So what is happening to us in regard to making a Sakkaya Ditthi based on Vedana is that we will make it in different ways. So let's go to the poster. Then I can explain this in a proper way. Others also can see. This is the poster which I made. Let's take Vedana part. Feeling as self. Feeling as self here means that you are maintaining a self based on feelings. For example, if I take a layman's example, I would say that when you want to explain or when you want to think to yourself that with regard to your feel, let's say it's a happy feeling, this happy feeling is me. Or maybe this unhappy feeling is me. It's nobody else. And this neutral feeling is me. And we understand there is no I, me, myself at a certain higher level. But conventionally speaking, we have to take it. Yes. Otherwise, you might think, who is having the pain? Let's say you have a knee pain. The person who is having the pain might say, if they are wrongly understanding, it's not me. Then who is having the pain? The doctor is asking, on a 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, you have to rate your pain. Oh, there is no pain to me. Right? The doctor might be a little confused. You have to say, how severe is your pain? Is it like 1 or maybe on a 1 to 10 scale? Actually, this means in our normal life, we have to go like that, right? We have to understand that this feeling is with me. But there are people, they take it very extremely. This is me, nobody else. This is me. It's me. There is every pain is severely burning myself. I mean, they are taking it very strongly. They are taking it very severely. Then at that point, feeling has gone on to a self. That is the first one. Now, let's go to the second part. Self as possessed of feeling. This is the opposite side. Same idea. That means you are maintaining a self with so-called feeling. When you say, I have myself, yes, that self is possessed of lots of feeling. Those feelings are nothing else. They are part of me. They are all part of me. If feeling is anicca, impermanent, changing, so we cannot take like that. I mean, conventionally we take them as they are, but don't develop them to a very strong kind of perspective that this is me, this feeling is me, nobody else. And then the third one, feeling as in self, self as in feeling. Now, this is about the format. Now, the format two is about you take self and you take what you call feeling in different two ways. But here you are looking at your format. You're looking at your structure of life on the both side, either in the feeling or either in the self. That makes sense? Not sure? Okay, I think you need more explanations. Well, feeling, now let's go back again. Feeling as self, you take the feeling as self. Is it clear? You take your happy feeling as yourself. That makes sense? Now, whenever you have a happy or wrong, unhappy feeling, you call it, this is me. This is nobody else. And then sometimes you might also call self as possessed of feeling. The normal idea is that you maintain a self. Actually, self is not existing in Buddhism in the high teachings. And you call that self has a lot of feelings inside. That's the other side. That means you say feeling is my self and self is my feeling on the both sides. And the third, fourth one, they are the similar, but you take them as the format of yourself. Feeling as in self, self as in feeling. That means you call that you have a self, that self structure is feeling, and you call there is a self, the structure of self is feeling. Let's take another one, rupa, maybe, this one is also good, sankhara. What is sankhara? Sankhara means karma, right? Our own good and bad karma. So, karma as self. Now, there may be somebody who might think when they are doing good karma, bad karma, these good karmas are bad karmas are me, nobody else. Actually, you cannot have a self that is going after because everything is subject to anicca. Then you cannot think that there is a self that is carrying good and bad karmas to the next life. And there may be somebody who might take this in on the other way. That means myself has lots of good and bad karmas. Earlier you call good karma, bad karma as yourself. Now you call I have a self. That self has a lot of good and bad karma. If the self is continuing by changing, there is no self. To the next slide. Third and fourth are the format of yourself, and then a karma. All right. I think that is a bigger conversation. I cannot finish by concluding this, but I just shared with you how to basically understand those ones. Was it a little bit clear? Not yet? Okay, bit clear, yeah. All right, Sonia, let me read just to minimize the time, save the time. Bhante is Samma Ditti, limited only to these 10 views discussed and no others. Are you asking the Samma Ditti that is given by the Buddha has more versions? Actually, these are the main aspects of Samma Ditti. But there is a sutta called Samma Ditti Sutta. But that was given by Arahant Sariputta on a different level. So you don't have to worry about that sutta. Basically, Sammaditthi means believing in these 10, especially for the lay people. That Sammaditthi Sutta is another way of looking at Sammaditthi by an enlightened person. Don't worry about it, because there are two people who are practicing Sammaditthi. One is normal people, unenlightened people. Other ones are enlightened beings. But is there such thing as intergenerational karma, like from the lineage of my parents? If intergenerational karma exists, does that mean I inherit the karma from my parents? If that is inherited, how can I clear, or do I need to live out of the karma? Well, there are two things that we have to think about this kind of a question. One thing is, let's say there is a family who has a disease, and the children will also be automatically taking up those diseases. Definitely there is a karma. That's why those children are going to be born to them like that. On the other hand, there are some generational what you call bad states of mind that have been coming from one generation to the other generation, like the First Nations in the West. As you can see, that they have a huge anger towards the colonizers, and their offsprings are also carrying the same anger. Maybe they have heard from their parents, so they have to fight, they have to do something. So if you ask the question this way, more, it could be, could not, it couldn't be. It depends. So let's say your mother, father had done a collective karma with you in a past life. All right? And you are a part of that karma. Are people doing some collective karmas? They gang together, they do something wrong things to other people. If so, you might be reborn in a family as such, and then will experience. It can be. Sometimes parents might experience their own karmas. Children will experience their own karmas. It's like how they tell their children, these are our savings, don't ask us any more money, you go and work and make your own money. We are not giving any money to you anymore, right? So there are different ways to look at it. But you are asking something interesting. If that is inherited, yes, there may be some inherited karmas. That's why you were reborn as a part of their family. How can I clear, or do I need to live out of karma? You can't live out of the karma, but you can neutralize lots of karmas in your life. How to neutralize? Now, don't take it as a wrong thing, because you'll misunderstand. It doesn't mean that you can do a bad thing and you can neutralize on the next day. What is meant here is that, let's say you have done a bad karma in a past life, which are not the 5 bad karmas. Killing mother, killing father, wounding the Buddha, killing arahants, and then creating some conflicts among the Sangha and other people. Those are really bad karmas. You will have to suffer a lot in your life if you have done so. But I feel like this is not an inclusive list, because then killing other people is not part of a heavy karma. So if you look at that. But anyways, these are the ones that are treated to be heavy in their own teachings. So let's say you haven't done them. Let's say you have done karmas in the past. Sometimes we don't know what karmas we may have done in the past life. Do we know? We have no idea. So then the Buddha said, there is a way to cleanse yourself. How to cleanse yourself from the unknown bad karmas and the known bad karmas is to do more good karmas. Do more good karmas. Double, triple, multiply, quadruple your good karmas. Don't wait. Don't wait until the things are going to give you a hard time, big time. And then he's giving an example, a very good analogy. He's saying in one sutta, somebody is putting a small amount of salt into a glass of water. And then he's asking, what will happen to the glass of water? It's obvious that the glass of water becomes saltish because of the less volume of the water. And then he's asking, what if somebody puts the same amount of salt into the Ganges in India? Will the Ganges become saltish? It's not. Why? The water volume of the water is higher than the amount of salt. In the same way, if somebody has done even small bad karma, let's say very tiny bad karma, but that person has not done lot of good karma, that tiny small bad karma can give a hard time to that person's life. On the opposite, if somebody is always trying to do more good karmas, that means practicing samadhi, sankappa, vacha, kammanta, ajiva, vayama, sati, samadhi, always trying to do, always stay on the Dhamma path, this has a huge chance of mitigating, neutralizing the effect of bad karma. Now, don't think today Bhante told a very good analogy, so we can do bad karma and unless except those 5 and we have a good way to cleanse us. That is a bad idea, okay? Don't take that way. But I'm trying to give you good news because when you hear Dhamma talks, often Dhamma talks go in a way that you can do and then, you are destined to be as such. But today is a good news sharing with you. So he said to a couple people that if they do more good karmas, you can cleanse yourself. But unfortunately, people don't know this about. They think, okay, if I done a bad karma, so I could experience that. There's no way. So then they are creating more akusalas to that thought. Because they're bringing what you call kukucha, remorse. Kukucha is another akusala. Now you have done an akusala. Maybe you done akusala in this life, and you are bringing lot of another akusalas, another layer of akusalas. We call it kukuch. Then 2 akusalas will create a huge incurrence of unnecessary akusalas. So yes, and then according to time, dear Bhante, those who work as farmers in order to care for their farm, they will use their same chemical. Will this cause bad karma? Well, I mean, I don't know their intention, but if their intention is to bring, now you are talking about farmers, probably, maybe they are going to give you a vegetarian diet, isn't it? They are going to give you a vegan diet. A lot of people don't talk about it. They think that meat and fish on the plate, such bad things to eat, consume. But who is talking about farmers who are trying to give you a vegetarian diet, have to kill a lot of other animals? They are not coming to your plate, isn't it? Are those animals coming to your plate? Are they coming? They are. You don't see them. You think, okay, I'm consuming potatoes. I'm consuming this broccoli. I'm consuming this good vegetarian stuff. But farmers had to kill a lot of insects to give you that plate of rice or whatever. So the idea that we have to take is a similar analogy with you taking a syrup, cough syrup. Let's say you have a cough and you go see the doctor. You say, doctor, I have a very bad cough. The doctor is saying, okay, you got a virus, right? So I'm going to give you a codeine-based syrup today. But be careful, you are not taking it during the day. You are going to take it before you sleep. And after you taking that, you can't do anything. You can't drive and you can't, operate a machine because you're going to be dizzy, drowsy. And then what is happening? The medication will put you to sleep and then going to take care of those things. That means definitely it will take care of that thing, and then give you that health. Probably in a couple of days you'll be healthier. But there will be somebody like this. Okay, I got virus. I have to spread metta to my virus. Let them be there. Now, what do you think about this idea? This is a wrong idea, because your human life is more precious. You are going to think that I have to be healthy to practice more Dhamma, right? And thinking that you have to maintain virus is a bad idea, because you are going to let yourself die. You are going to kill yourself in different ways. So that is the same example that you have to understand with the farmers. I think farmers are doing this to give people a healthy, uh, probably healthy diet, healthy industrial, uh, meeting the industrial demand that comes from the, yeah. So if they have that idea, it's okay. But there may be somebody who is taking the cups around. Today, I'm going to kill all my virus, I'm now drinking that. May all virus go away. They have to be killed. And this way of taking the cough syrup will make some bad karmas in a way, because you are trying to think that way. Is having the knowledge of Four Noble Truths part of Samma Ditti? It is for the Arahants actually, mainly. But for the lay people, it is these 10 things. Because do you think that we know Four Noble Truths really in the proper way? Do we know the technical way of Four Noble? Dukkha, Dukkha Samudaya. That's not the understanding. That is only relevant to an Arahant. So their way, I think let's go and see that. I'll show that a little bit, and you will understand it here. Can you see the second, the other side of the noble, what you call Sammaditi for the Arahants? You can see here noble, taintless, supramundane as a Magganga. Here you can see path factor of right view in one whose mind is noble, whose mind is taintless, who possesses the noble path and is developing the noble path. So this is the way how somebody is having that reflecting on the understanding of the Four Noble Truths. But for the normal people, their sammaditi is affected by asavas, partaking of punyas, ripening in the acquisitions, upadis. So as lay people, this is why I'm telling you, you might have heard the monks' monastic version of Buddhism. So lay people's Buddhism has to be found out here. All right. So understanding of the Four Noble Truth as a Sammaditi is relevant to Arahants and onwards. But for you, not even understanding, adjusting your attitudes, perspectives along these 10. Yes, so we have a question. Maybe you can make it a little bit short.
Hi, good evening, Bante.
Yes, good evening.
I would like to ask this. I'm in dilemma to understanding good practice without intentions. Let's say we do give, like we do donations or we do whatever without attachment. Sometimes I read the teaching or any articles. So I was contemplating, what does it mean without attachment? Aren't when we do a donations, we already have intentions to generate a good merit? How come we cannot have expectations at all?
Okay. Actually, I done a discussion about interview about discussion about Dana probably a month or 2 months ago. Maybe you can watch that later. But in short, what I can say is that Buddhism has an ideal way of being generous. Ideal way of. Ideal is, like when you say ideally speaking, that's a different state, right? Now, it's like that when you are driving, the ideal speed should not be maintained when it is having some bad weather, right? You can't ideally drive if it is having some issues on the road. So you have to understand that that speed is not relevant now. Road is not good now. In the same way, now, ideally speaking, in Buddhism, dana is both giving and give up. You are physically giving, mentally giving now. Now, in your example, you say you want to give a donation. And when you give the donation, yes, you must have a purpose. You are giving this to a temple, maybe as a charity. Yes, then you might think, may this donation be helpful for the upkeeping of this temple, upkeeping of the Sangha's requisition, whatever. So what is the problem with that? Now, the problem is when you are making other expectations on the top of that particular need. Let's say, today I gave a donation. May this donation give me lots of things. May I be a deva with this donation. It is also possible for a very, let's say there is somebody who has not that much money. This person really needs some happiness in his or her life. So let her do that. Let him do it. I'm not bothered by that. But you have everything. Why you are making that wish? Right? So I think it depends. It depends on the donor. It's okay. But if you have come to a certain stage of your dana practice and you are okay, you are affordable, at that point, I think you better think about giving technically. We are physically giving up and mentally giving up. Because we have two words, dana and chag. So it depends. So we should not worry about somebody who has nothing in this life and making a wish, may I have more comforts in my next life. It's very reasonable, right? That person has not enjoyed his or her life that way. But ideally speaking, thing applies to other people who have enough money, enough happiness. Why are they going to make that happen? All right.